Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. This is going to be my post-fight reaction from what I saw, and I was surprised. And for everything I said about Israel Adesanya, and that if Yoel stood with him, and he stood standing with him, how it would play out, it didn't do that. To me, if you're an elite kickboxer, right, you're the best kickboxer in MMA, right? That's the claim, right? He's the best kickboxer in MMA. You're the best, right? And then a guy that's really hasn't is not an expert in standing up at all. Not an expert, right? Just explosive, just an athlete, but not even doesn't even have really the cardio to go consistently, right? He's not a combination puncher. He's not really doing anything that's surprising. He kind of just bull rushes you, right? He kind of just bull rushes you, and he fights on one side of his body, right? And if to me you're an elite stand up guy, right? Elite kickboxer, there's no way that's a close fight. There's just no way. And you could say, well, he's powerful and he hits hard and all those things, but it's still no way that's a close fight because you're an elite fighter, right? You're elite at what you do, and that was what that fight was. And the thing is that Adesanya proved two things that fight. He proved two things. Well, there was a question answered, right? Could he avoid the takedown? He did. He did. There were three attempts. He avoided them. He got one takedown, popped right back up. The other two, he stopped. So he did that. Okay, so he went in there, all the questions he needed answered, he answered those ones. But then he left with more questions now, because is Israel Adesanya effective if you're the counterpuncher as well? I see Anderson had this problem, right? But Anderson will also go get you at times. You know what I mean? Anderson wouldn't take a chance if you were like a jiu-jitsu guy or something like that. For some reason, he wouldn't take that chance with you. He would just move around. But I also see him go get guys. Or I also see him put himself in the danger so the guy opens up, right? Adesanya didn't want to do that. He didn't want to put himself in danger. He didn't do anything to Yoel could open up so he could create the opening. See, everyone's blaming Yoel on this. Dana White is blaming Yoel on this. And of course he is, because, Yoel's 42 years old and he's not the champ. He's not the next big star, and Israel could be. So of course he is. So, I like Dana White, but this is where the promoter steps in and the owner steps in of a company. And the guy that's running the company steps in, and you got to be aware of it. That what he's saying, is affected by dollars, by cash, money. Israel won the fight, that's fine. Yoel won the fight, that's fine. It could have went either way, honestly. And honestly, in my opinion, and I know they were saying that, the commentators were saying that Israel was winning the fight, but to me, the most effective punches and strikes in most of the rounds were Yoel. They were very few and far between. But Israel was really few and far between. And yes, he jacked up his leg, I'll give you that, but to say you did that, but I didn't really see the effects of it in the fight. I mean, yes, it looked bruised. I'll give you that, it looked bruised, everything. But that's not going to say, I'm not going to just go off of what I think it felt like or what those shots felt like. I don't know. I'm going to take a headshot over a leg shot any day, right? I'm going to take that's to me the more effective. That's closer to getting the lights turned off. So I'm going to take that shot over that any day of the week. And I landed more of those. But I don't care. They both didn't do enough to win the fight. If it went either way, I couldn't be mad about it. But I do think that Israel left a lot of questions down unanswered. And now if you said he fought Jon Jones, right, who's a smart striker, right, and maybe he doesn't have the capabilities to do some of the things Izzy does, but he's smart and he's patient, he might just stall Izzy out. And I think that Jon Jones wins a fight like that. Now I'm starting to switch it the other way. Now I was always that Izzy was going to knock out Jon Jones. Now I'm thinking that the way Jon Jones fights, and he's long and he's patient and everything, he might be able to just outpoint him. And that fight got a lot. It's still interesting. It's still a super fight, and it's still probably going to happen because I think that Costa is going to just come at Stylebender, and Costa just got the clips just showed of him knocking out Logan Paul, which is fake, obviously, right? It looked like a Rocky movie, right? That's obviously fake, and they did that as a favor to Costa to make him look good, and they need a little bit of clickbait. That's what they do, right? But the parts where they were legitimately boxing, Logan was landing on him, and I'm not surprised, right? I'm not surprised because Costa, his stand-up is not great, right? He looks the part. This guy's he's humongous, whatever. He's got muscles. He's got big arms, all these things, right? But they aren't really effective in striking, especially for his style. It's not really the most effective thing, right? He's all bulked up, right? And it's not the shape you would want, really. If you were just going to say, I need to make an elite stand-up guy, that's not the shape you would truly go for that. So when Logan Paul's outboxing him, or not outboxing him, but he was just landing, right? He was landing. And to me, if you're an elite guy, it would never happen, right? It would never happen. Stylebender wouldn't get land on from Logan Paul. I promise you. It would not happen. Okay, he would toy with them, or he would put them to sleep whenever he wanted to, but it wouldn't be where he's like trading shots. And those looked like they were legitimately trading shots. He didn't have headgear. And that's just like because that's just showing like I'm better than you. Whatever. It's a little mental thing. It's a thing to make him look good, and I understand that. Right? I understand that he's a professional fighter. He's got hit by guys and stuff. All those things. He still got landed on, though. Nonetheless, he still got landed on. Right? Still got landed on. Right? So you can tell me that guy's gonna go in. Right? He's gonna go and attack Israel, and Israel's not gonna knock him out or put him to sleep because Israel's a really good counterpuncher. So I'll give you that. Israel has that. That's for sure. I'm not questioning. If you're gonna come forward on him, right? He's gonna land shots. And now, is there openings? Yes, there is openings to Israel. He's not a perfect fighter. Right? He's not a perfect fighter, and not a lot of guys are perfect. No one's a perfect fighter, but he's not. There's openings with him. Defensively, he's not the greatest. So there's openings with him. And there will be shots for close to the land. If he's going to pull pressure, the first round will be his best chance. But I just think that the Stylebender's too good. He gets in a fight like that. He's very comfortable in the heat of it. You know what I mean? He's very good with that. So I think he'll knock him out. But if you could just box him, right, and be patient, right, and be patient with it and not constantly explode, you could stall this guy out. He could be stalled out. I see it. Anderson Silva did it. Now Yoel did it. He could be stalled out. Yoel only throws one punch from one side of the body. He couldn't figure it out. He kept going to the wrong side. And the guys told him, don't go straight forward. His trainers were telling him, don't go, you're in a straight line. And he's going to sprint you a straight line. He never really changed that, honestly. He didn't know how to get an angle to where he could still strike and be defensive. He didn't know. When he struck, he had to be right in front of him. And that's why he got caught. And the most effective, biggest shots landed were from Yoel in that fight. The co-main event should have been the main event. The girls are surpassing the men in skill-wise MMA. And it's not talked about enough. And Zhang versus Joanna was a beautiful fight. One of the best MMA fights I've ever seen, if not the best, right? So it was just beautiful stand-up. And I think I was trying to think why, right? Why are they so far ahead? And why does it look so much better? And why are they doing MMA, what MMA should look like, right? Why are they doing it? And usually in the small weights, even the men, they do it. It's just better to watch for some reason. It's not the one that it's not the one people want to see, but it's to me, it's more like visually, it's better to watch. More visually pleasing kind of fights. And because I think that the stand-up is what they go in there to do. And the wrestling and jiu-jitsu is secondary to them. And now they're very skilled at that, right? But when you get two people that are saying, we're going to stand up, right? We're going to stand up, we're going to commit to it. And when we get on the inside, if we grab each other, yes, for sure. If we get in a clinch, right, I might look to sweep you, right? But I don't fully commit to it. And I'm willing to step back and I'm willing to get back in a range of striking, right? And I think that when you get that, you can get better. You get a lot better fights because it's really what you really want to see is, to me, right? To me, I think the fans are most entertained in a stand-up fight, right? There's no doubt about it. There's bigger shots are landed, more chance of fight ending instantly, right? And I enjoy the ground and everything like that, but it's just not as entertaining as an all-out war or what that fight was, right? There's just never been a jiu-jitsu match on the ground that was as entertaining as what that fight was with Joanna and Zhang. And I thought Joanna won the fight. And I actually thought she won 4 rounds to 1. And that's not really crazy to say because every round was so close that I can't even be mad that they won to Zhang because you could have scored that fight like 5 rounds to none for 1 because every round was so close that I can't argue that. I can't really argue that. What I will say in favor of Joanna is that she landed more strikes and she did more effective work throughout bigger portions of the round. And Zhang, what I thought was going to happen is that things I recorded a podcast on this fight and it went exactly how I said it was going to be. But I called Zhang Wang instead of Zhang, and I didn't want to post it. I didn't feel right about it. I didn't want to be disrespectful, so I didn't post it, and I didn't redo it. And that's my mistake, because this is how I thought the fight would go, because I thought Zhang was going to land maybe the bigger shots, the more like the shots you saw that made the crowd go, ooh, right? But Joanna was going to land more consistent shots throughout the fight, right? Because she's just she punches in more numbers, and she's very crisp from good distance. Any distance she can strike. And I thought Zhang had to be more on the inside. And when Zhang on the inside, she was super effective. And she threw her straight right hand was landing. More effective than I thought that fight was going to be. I thought her left hook was going to be a thing. And her left hook was effective. But her right hand was really effective. Right? And then in the clinch, Joanna, I'm surprised Joanna stood there. They didn't see that on tape that, that's when Zhang would land her biggest shots. Were in the clinch. And she did. And then Joanna would be effective early. But then when they got separated the clinch, she would land big shots coming out. I just thought it was a beautiful fight. They got to immediately rematch it. It was there was no losers in that fight. There was no losers, and it was the worst thing for Stylebender was to have that fight before him, and then him to give that performance that he did. They need to get right. He needs to get right back in the ring with Costa and get the bad taste out of everyone's mouth after that fight. Joanna and Zhang have to be main event of their own thing. And you know what? And even if you're not going to sell and everything, just out of respect for the sport. And if they really, if Dana White's really, talks about, he'll take a loss of money just to grow the sport, that's what you do. Because those girls deserve it. They deserve the main event. They deserve this percentage of pay-per-view points. Because that performance right there is what you want. It's what you're looking for. Yeah, with Stylebender, I can't see an elite guy like that. Just to me, right, if a boxer went in there, elite boxer, Terrence Crawford, right, I don't think a guy's gonna outpunch him. Honestly, I just don't think that would happen. Okay, maybe take him down, yes. Maybe he, kick him in his legs. Okay, maybe that's fine, right? He's never trained that. But a guy's gonna outpunch him. That's what he's best at. And Stylebender got outstruck on something he's the best at. It blows my mind. It really blows my mind. Another fight that happened that weekend is Kownacki. He lost. Kownacki lost, and should we be surprised? A guy that with no defense that comes straight forward, there's a good chance he gets knocked out by heavyweights because he's getting hit on the head. And he lost to Helenius, who was been around for a while. Helenius was actually at one point considered a guy to maybe fight the Klitschko's. Like he's been around for a while, and that was his biggest win to date. And it's gonna get him a decent fight now. Maybe look for him to fight Luis Ortiz or an Andy Ruiz, or he's gonna have one of those guys to come, one of those PBC guys. And Kownacki now, it's a bit of a he got exposed. Now is he done? No, because the PBC is he sells over there in Chicago, and is it Chicago or Brooklyn? One of those. He sells one of those, and I'm pretty sure Chicago. But yeah, he's gonna get his chances because that's the way boxing is now, and I like it, and I don't mind it. But I don't think he has a chance to be elite. I never thought he had a chance to be elite, but now for sure I don't think that. And he got knocked out, and now he's going to have to take some chances maybe in his career where he's going to have to fight guys that it's weird because he was going to go to the next bigger step no matter what, right? But now it's going to be a complete different perspective on now the next bigger step. And he's going to take a loss in pay for sure. And now he's got to take big chances in a different less of pay, and that's what a loss does to you. And to me, it looked like he was wearing down Helenius a little bit, but Helenius just kind of just stood, every time he came in looking to land the big right hand, and he did. And when he did, it was over. And there was no recovery. He was not going to recover from it. And now PBC's got another heavyweight. Helenius, I don't buy because he got knocked out by Gerald Washington. Gerald Washington's no good. But, it's got another guy for Luis Ortiz or Andy Ruiz to fight. And I think Andy Ruiz might fight Areola. That makes sense, too. You could sell that out in Southern California. So, Andy Kownacki has been eliminated from contending with the heavyweights. Elite heavyweights, in my opinion. Carroll beat Quigg, which Carroll looked absolutely beautiful in that fight. He's going to be a tough out. And you thought when he fought Tim Farmer, you thought maybe he just caught Tim Farmer. Tim Farmer was on the way down. No, he backed up everything that what you thought he was in that fight. He backed it up. And there's going to be some exciting opportunities for him, especially that weight with the zone. They have some guys at that weight, and that guy he's good, he's crafty, and he's getting so good that the lack of power, he's landing more effective shots though, so it's getting guys hurt. Let's see where he goes with that. There's Jojo Diaz, Tim Farmer. There's guys who can do that. I don't know if they'll fight Tim Farmer again, right? Because I think they're friends now, whatever. But I don't know, business is business. But Jojo Diaz is there. There's good fights for him, and he's a tough out now. I'm starting to buy it, and how skilled he looked that night, I just bought it. I'm just buying it. All right, so this is what I'm gonna try to get up is my website. Right, I'm trying to get a website up this week, and it's gonna have my grades for all the boxing cards that have been put out by PBC, Top Rank, DAZN. That would include Matchroom and Golden Boy combined, and I've been grading them a 1 through 4 scale, 4 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. It's a pre-fight grade, and then there's a post-fight grade. So pre-fight is the hype into it, the matchups that look on paper, and then the post-fight grade is how it actually played out and what kind of hype left after the night. Right? There's only been 2 4s, right? It's been 2 4s, and that was Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, just because the pre-hype, obviously, and then the post-hype still huge. Tyson Fury was the biggest star, was like one of the biggest stars in fighting once that fight was over. And then the next 4 was actually Garcia versus Vargas, which the whole card was just amazing. That was a 4 leaving the fight. Going into the fight, I had it at a 3. So Wasn't the most excited for it. I mean, it was a good fight. It was a good card. It wasn't the most hype fight. You know what I mean? It wasn't like things that were non-boxing fans were into, right? But then when it left out, I think when the card played out, it was something like that, and it did have some good hype around it. And I think it just was an excellent card, top and bottom. So I'm trying to get the website up. Definitely another podcast coming this week. But this has been The Weigh In.